our circle unit, and the first thing we're going to talk about with circles is circumference. So we're going to talk about what circumference is, how to find circumference, how to work backwards given circumference. So your learning target, you can calculate and apply circumference of circles. That includes being able to work backwards. Circumference is the distance around a circle. We dealt with that in our last unit when we had scale factors. It is a synonym to perimeter, but they think circles are so special because boy are they, they're pretty cool. Circles are so special that they get their own word for perimeter called circumference. So circumference is around a circle, not inside. Circumference is around a circle. The circumference formula, right here, here's your little formula. It's kind of hidden, hard to see, it's not standing out. The formula is pi d. That means pi times diameter. That is the formula for the circumference of a circle. You need to know some parts of a circle. Some of you worked towards the parts yesterday doing that IXL when you finished your test. But just letting you know, for those of you that didn't get that opportunity to work through it, a circle has certain parts. Every diameter and radius always go through the center of a circle. Radius is like a spoke on a bike. It goes from the center to the outside edge of a circle. Diameter crosses the center of a circle and goes all the way across. It's really two radiuses combined is what it is. And a chord goes across a circle, the sides of a circle, or the edges of a circle, and it doesn't go through the center. Or you could reverse that and say a diameter is really a chord that goes through the center. Diameter is two radiuses, so you're going to have to, a lot of times today, you're going to be given a radius and asked to calculate the circumference, so you'll have to find diameter. Two radiuses and one diameter. And if you're given a radius, if you have to find the radius, you have the diameter, okay? Okay, so we are going to find circumference in two different ways, and I want you to put this, maybe if you have room to the left of your circle here, there's two different ways to find circumference. There's an exact way and there's a rounded way. And if I say, what is the exact circumference? That means you do not round at all. And the thing about pi is an irrational number. Pi is the ratio of a circle circumference to its diameter. It never ends. It goes on for infinity. So if I say exact, you cannot round it. You have to keep it exact. So what you do, you leave pi. If I say what is the exact circumference, you keep the pi symbol there. Because if you don't keep the pi symbol there, you're not giving me the exact circumference. You're giving me a rounded circumference. For example, you might say something like 30 pi might be your answer, or 12.2 pi might be your answer. You leave the pi symbol. Rounded is when you use 3.14. And you'll know today what I want you to do. 3.14 and your calculator's pi are completely different. And you could analyze that. They're just slightly off because the calculator has it rounded to more digits than what we round with 3.14. So when you push the calculator pi to find things, the answer is slightly different than if we wouldn't. Okay, so what you're going to have to do today, you're going to have to find the circumference. And I think I make you find it in two ways. I think I make you work with the exact and the rounded. So I want to find the circumference, pi d, of the following three circles. Circle number one, exact. Exact is leaving pi. So So my exact circumference is pi times diameter. My diameter is 4, so it's going to be 4 pi. That's exact. You just leave it like that. No biggie. My rounded circumference, pi times diameter. So it's going to be my diameter is 4 times 3.14. And you need to be confident working with both of these. Yes, exact is much easier to work with because you don't have to punch anything in. It's way easier to work with. But you need to be able to translate between the two of them. 4 times 3.14 is 12.56. And it would just be inches. Because it's like perimeter, so you don't square perimeter. Okay? Everybody should have this written down. You should be taking active notes. Okay, the next one. The circumference of this middle circle, pi times diameter. I want exact, and I want my rounded. Exact, pi times diameter. My diameter is 6.2, and you just leave the pi. Exact is leaving the pi. And my rounded is 6.2 times 3.14. And that is 19.5 rounded, approximately 19.5 centimeters. Keep in mind, I want you to, if you have your calculator's version for pi is going to be a little bit different than our 19.5. I think we got, our rounded was 19.468. If you have your calculator right now, I want you to punch in 6.2, the pi button on your calculator, and press equal. And you're going to get something different. 19.4778. Notice that it's different than mine because your calculator has pi programmed more than 2 digits. So you're going to get, obviously, you're going to get a different answer. Your calculator is a better option because the less you round, the more accurate your answer is going to be. So your calculator's value for pi, what did we get? Calc. So we went 6.2 pi, which equaled 19.477, blah, blah, blah. Let me just at least write 9 so I round right. The difference there, if you press pi and equal sign, it goes a lot of digits. Ours only went 2 digits. So that's the issue. Good? All right, I just wanted to expose that to you. The next one, number 3. I want to find the circumference of this circle. It's pi times diameter. I do not have diameter right now. I have radius. So I need my diameter. So my diameter is equal to 2 times 7.5, right? It's double my radius. I need one more radius to get all the way across. So 7.5 and 7.5 is 15. So now I can do it. My exact answer is 15 pi. And my rounded answer, 2 different ways to round. You can round by just keeping it plugged into your calculator. Actually, I want you to just use 3.14 because otherwise there will be a lot of confusion. 15 times 3.14 is 47.1. And this is miles. Okay, so keep in mind that what we do with circumference is we multiply pi in the diameter. Pi is either 3.14, pi could be exact as the symbol, or our calculator's pi, which is rounded, I think, approximately 9 places. The next thing we're going to do with this is work backwards. Yeah. So all of this is working backwards. You might want to just write backwards. So finding diameter or radius given the circumference. Notice that typically we multiplied by pi. So have to work backwards. You're just doing that backwards or inverse operation. So this is the actual algebra way. You can plug what you know into pi d. Use 3.14. This is where you definitely use 3.14 for pi. You don't use exact for this. And rewrite. And then that's your answer. I don't know what the third step would possibly be. Oh, probably divide, if this is the actual algebra way. I don't typically do the algebra way. I just work backwards, just like when we work backwards with triangles and parallelogram. Some of you, I don't know if you were into using the algebra method. I showed you it. A lot of you just punched it into your calculator. I'll do the algebra method so you can see it. So here's what I know. C equals pi times diameter. That's what I know. Find the radius if the circumference is 15.7. So it says to plug what I know. So I know that 15.7 equals pi times my diameter. That's what I know. That's step 1. Step 2 is use 3.14 for pi. So 15.7 equals 3.14 times the diameter. Then I have to divide it to get it by itself. So 15.7 divided by 3.14 is 5. Diameter is 5, but be so careful. That's not what I want. I want a radius. Diameter is all the way across this 5. So my radius, my little radius would be 2.5. So radius is 2.5 centimeters. That's the actual algebra way. I don't typically do that. I just divide. So normally you times by 3.14, working backwards, divide by 3.14. Okay? So if the circumference of a circle is 56.5 inches, find the diameter. So here's what I know. Circumference is pi times diameter. I'm already given circumference, so instead of timesing by pi, I will divide by pi. So 56.5 divided by pi. I would never write that part. I would write 56.5 divided by 3.14. Again, you could use the algebra strategy in the first example. It would work just fine. So 56.5 divided by 3.14 is 17.99. So let me just round it to 18, approximately 18. And I am talking about inches. And then I just double check. Diameter is what I want. Diameter is what I have. I am done. So that's my learning target with circumference. Circumference, you just need to know that you go pi times diameter. And sometimes you need to be careful for what the radius is and what the diameter is. And know that exact means you leave pi.